So,
Okay.
see, when I gave you the introduction, right, I explained that if you have to build a web application, we may need, Angular or React, right? Or, JSPs and all technology that is gone, right? So you need, for front end, you need these technologies. And if you want to build in Java, right, you have a framework called as Django and then Flask, right? These are all technologies. These are technologies for front end building, Java, Python front end building. Even you can do back end also. When I say front end, back end, if you take a ICICI application, ICICI.com, it'll actually, when you log in, it'll actually show you your account balance, the credit card balance and all that stuff, right? So to visually show this and, have some drop downs, if you want to download some statement, you will have a drop down there to select the year and all. To show all this, right, you may need some UI technology, whether it is AngularJS, Node.js, React.js or Flask. If you want to build a standalone application means, I think I can show something here. See this? This is, yeah, see this? This is my, MSI computers, it monitor. It actually shows you all the, how the temperature and how the memory situation and all that. This is standalone application. Okay. That application gets installed on your machine, and when you run, it actually opens up from your machine. Is called a standalone. But when you type a URL in the web browser and an application is opening up, that's called as web application. You all know, right? Some people know. So this is web application. So this web application runs on a server, right? The server may be present in the bank's premises, right? Maybe present in the bank's premises, or it is there in the cloud. Doesn't know, right? So this when you actually log in, it goes in and contacts the login service, a code block which is present in there, and it goes back to the database, right? And brings the data related to you and shows you your account balance and your credit card balance and all that stuff. Okay, so that's how the applications were before. Now with AI inclusion, right, we will actually take the data, go into the server and go into the database, bring out the data, fetch out the data and pass that data to an AI module. This may be present in the same server or in a different server or a different cloud. It doesn't matter. AI module. And this AI module will recommend that, or actually predict that you are going to spend maybe 200 rupees or maybe 2000 extra this month. So this module is what we are trying to learn, not the front end development or the service development or the database development. Right? Got it? So here this module we are learning. If you already know these technologies, right, that may be useful in understanding how the integration happens. Anyway, I'm going to show you one simple application. We'll show you. Once we know what is AI, what is ML, and some algorithms, I'll show you a simple application on how to integrate the whole application with AI model. So our focus is here. And to learn this, to learn these intelligent modules, so there are many applications in the world. We are trying to make them intelligent. So to add this component to the applications, we need to learn Python, because Python is the module in which the packages were built, which we are going to use. Okay.
Yeah.
And in this Jupyter notebook, right? If you want to have an input button, input box you can have. Let me try to show you.
Yeah, input box. Yes.
You know that, right? Input is the function which actually which actually takes input from the keyboard or the command prompt. Sorry, I opened up slide. So we are actually working on the standalone application right now. I don't know whether I can open this or not. Yesterday I made some change. See this? This is a standalone application we are actually building. So right. So this is TK Inter. TK Inter is the the module we are using.
Module.
So here there are downs and all. But in this, right, these two modules are the AI modules. Monte Carlo simulation and particle swarm optimization. These are the AI module. This is general application, which will actually calculate and take input and do these tables and all that. But these two actually intelligently predict these numbers. Whatever these numbers we are using here, these numbers will be predicted by these two modules. So our focus is this. If you know, so if you know other technologies, right, it's going to be useful, but not required. Okay. On AI module itself, you'll have lots of work to do in a particular. I'm opening again spider. Sorry, I am not feeling well today, so I just so you can see my pattern, right? So,
Yeah.
so that if you know other technologies, right, that is useful, but not required. In a project, if you when you are working on AI, there will be a lot of work to do in AI itself. I think one of the ma'am is trying to join. I think she won't join. That's okay. Maybe after the class. So today, Python control statements. Till yesterday, we actually understood the what you call it as what you call those complex compound data types. Did you guys get time to look into APIs, API documentations? Anybody?
Yeah, Raj.
Who you looked at it, right? So that is mandatory. You need to look into those APIs and all. Okay. So let us one second.
Hey Rama, you are on mute actually.
Sorry. Thank you. So the value, I took a variable b and assigning value 10, and then trying to show you what are the logical operators. This double equal to is one logical operator, greater than is another operator, greater than or equal to is another operator. I think afterwards we have to see that greater than or equal to less than or equal to, right? It is equal to operation is what is giving you true. When I say less than, right, it will give false. When I say greater than, it will give false. So these are logical operators. Okay. So to check whether the variable has got that value or not, double equal to we have to do. Okay. Now we are going to look at a while loop. While loop will run until this value is less than, this condition is true. This condition is true. So I have taken b is equal to 0 here. And when I'm just seeing like whether b is less than 10 or not, and then printing b and incrementing b here, right? This is equal to, okay, b plus 1, and then so this while loop will run until this condition is true. You have to do something inside on this variable, rather it will get into an infinite loop, right? So it is adding one like that. So you can have like this also, the operator like this also, the plus equal to operator. Plus equal to is equivalent to b is equal to b plus 1. Okay, and you will have star equal to also, and then I will say 2 here. Okay, b I have to take 1, rather it will go into infinite loop. See that? So star equal to is equal to b is equal to b star 2. Okay, b star or b multiplied by 2. Okay. So you guys got it, right? The while loop, it is actually looping, checking whether b is less than 10 or not, then printing, doing the operation, coming back, again checking, again printing, again applying the operation, again checking, right? Like that. It is actually looping through. Okay. No questions, right? Okay. So here I am doing another operation here, but if you look at this, a comma b is equal to 0 comma 1. It is called as multiple assignment. In Python, you can assign multiple values to multiple variables in a single shot, and you can actually return also in a function. You can return multiple values also, which is not possible in other languages like Java and or C, C++. Maybe Java changed a little bit now, but as till 8, Java 8, it was not possible to return multiple values and assign multiple values. So if you see this here, a gets a 0 value, b gets 1 value. That is a multiple assignment. We assign 2 values to 2 variables. Okay, and here also, while b less than 10, I am printing, then a comma b is equal to b, a plus b. So what happens? A gets b gets a plus b. So we are actually trying to create a Fibonacci series, 0, 1, 1, right? We are like, so this is Fibonacci series numbers they are. Okay, this is same while loop, but I am trying to show multiple assignment. Okay, and then if condition, right? If else and else if. How the if condition is? So b is equal to 199 I have taken. If b is equal to, right, double equal to it. Double equal to means whether this value is equal to this or not. And then if it is equal, right, then we'll say the value 10. Otherwise, I've said other number. Okay, so it is like if else is same as other languages, but else if is a bit different. Like Unix else if it is ELIF. If x less than 0, x is equal to 0. So I am taking input from the keyboard here. This input is a function which actually takes input from the keyboard, and then I am converting it to integer, and then I am checking whether it is less than 0. If it is less than 0, I am putting a negative number. Then I am printing a negative number. Else if this condition is not true and something else is true, putting something else, right? So if else is common, right, as in other languages, but else if should be written as ELIF. Even if you say, right, you see this, it actually shows that it is correct, but syntactically it is not correct. See that it will say invalid syntax. So you need to use else if like that only, ELIF. Okay, so I ran it. If I give -1, see that negative, change it to 0. A negative number is given, and we are doing some operation. Yeah, I'm actually trying to create some pseudo print statements for the operations we are doing. So this is if else condition. While loop, if else if we have understood. Now the for loop. I think we already seen for loop. This is a list of words, and then in a for loop we are actually printing. So words, right? For x in words, that means it will take the first value into x and then checks whether the length of that word, we have seen this length function. The length of that word is equal to the 6, then only it's going to print. Rather it will not print. There may be million values in this list, but only when this condition is true, it is printing. And to actually see that those values, right, we are actually traversing through, we are actually iterating through. So these lists, tuples, sets, these objects are called as iterable objects. These are called as iterable objects. Okay. So, any questions here? Are we good? Okay. Then you can directly also print, but no. Just to show you the for loop, I have actually shown this. And yesterday we have seen that inline for loop are that list comprehension. List comprehensions are very useful. You need to practice them a little bit. So here in a for loop, I am trying to update the original list itself. So in that case, right, you should take a slice of the original object and then you need to traverse. I said that a slice is going to create a copy in memory, right? So if you don't take the slice and try to update the value itself, it may go into an infinite loop. So if I run this, what is happening? I think I should run it again. See that? What is happening? It is adding this door stopper multiple times, right? Door stopper multiple times. Why is it happening? Oh my God. I need to create this again. So this is the original list, right? And inside a loop, right, what I'm doing is, if the length of the word is greater than 6, I'm inserting that word at a 0th index. What is the 0th index? Here. And so it will actually shift. This door stopper will get into the 0th index and the other values will shift. So, see that? It added door stopper at the beginning. Okay, where only the word which is having more than 6 characters is door stopper. So when we found it, we actually inserted it, right? If you carefully see here, what is this? Is that the original words object or something else? The highlighted part, what is that?
List.
Sorry?
Slices lit.
Slice it is slice, right?
Slice.
Slice of the original. So it is going to create a copy. When it is a copy, right, it will have only these 3 values. When I am inserting new value into words, it will not reflect in this slice because this copy was taken before. That's where it is not going into infinity. If I don't take the slice like that, if I try to run this particular block, it will go into infinite loop. Can you explain why?
Yeah, because every time it is adding, so the loop is still going on.
Yeah, every time, right, it comes in, it checks, right, first word is not greater than 6 characters, it will just go up. Second is not, go up. Third is, so it's going to put it into 0th index. So the word object increased, right, and it will come back and see the first element itself is greater than 6 characters, and it will add it again into the first index, again into first index, again into first index. It will go into infinite loop. So when you are actually trying to update the object itself, it is always suggested that you take a slice of the original object and do that loop. Okay. So if I try to experiment, take out that and run it, it will go into infinite loop. How do you know it is an infinite loop? You will see a star here. When it's executing, generally when it's executing, I think you cannot see that now, but if you have more values, right, maybe. Yeah, see that? See that? There is a star coming, right? There is a star coming next to it. When you are executing, that star will come, right? So when it is in infinite loop, right, it will continuously be there, like, star, and next statements will not run. Okay, got it? So the care you should be taking. I was actually trying to highlight the loopholes in the Python, like, a string and integer can be multiplied, and then one more thing. Yes, the slicing will not throw exception even though the values are not present at that particular index, right? And then this thing, right? When you are trying to update the object itself in a loop, you should make sure that you take a slice of the original object. Okay? Give me one second. Okay, then the range method. Actually, we'll see the functions in the next next section, but I just tried to put it here. The range function will actually generate numbers from 0 to 10. See this print range of 0 to 10. Range is a function from Python, which will actually give you a range object, and you can actually iterate through like this. For I in range 10, I am actually printing, right? If you have to generate 10 numbers from 0 to 10, generally what you have to do, you have to do like this code. A is equal to 1, maybe A is equal to 0, then while A less than 10, print A, or put it into a list, and then A is equal to A plus 1. Right? Like this you have to do. Instead of doing this much of code, if you just say range 0 to 10, you will get those 10 values. Okay. So that is the use of range, and in that range, right, you can actually step also. So I am actually trying to print range of 0 to 15, right? And if I say comma 2, it will actually step 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, right? This is step. Start, stop, and step. So these are the building blocks of the language, or I would say the same things will repeat. In NumPy you will have arrange method, like other methods are there which actually follow the same pattern. So I am introduced. If I say 4, it is actually stepping 0, 0 plus 4, 0 plus 4 plus 4, 0 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4, like that it is. Okay, got it, right? Range method. And then I have taken the same, and then length, and whatever. Okay, these are all we know. And you can actually do, sometimes what you wanted to do is, you may want to know the index and the value at that particular index. So to do that, we have to say range of len of, right? What is range? Range is going to give you numbers between 0 and that number, right? Length is something. Length of words is 3. From 0 to 3, it's going to give you. And I, that I'm printing I and word of I. Word of I is the value. So I'm printing key value pair there. But enumerate is a method which actually gives you those, directly it gives you the value. So when I say enumerate of word, it is just showing some object, but you can iterate through it. For I comma v in enumerate actually gives you a tuple of index and the value, corresponding value, I and v. Okay, so you can do that. So instead of doing this much of code, you can use this enumerate. Like that, we have functions in Python, which actually makes our life easy. Okay, so the next statement we are going to learn in the control flow statement is break. I think you already know this in the other languages, but for I in range of 2 to 10, I am printing I. Let me take out this and run it. See that it is printing from 2 to 9 because range object will also give you n minus 1 only, right? 0 to 9, there are 10 numbers. And 2 to 10 means it will take the first number but not the last number. That same convention when in the slicing also we follow, right? Same convention is followed. So if you want to break, there is some condition in the logic if you want to come out, right? So if I greater than 5, I want to break. So then what happens? If it is I greater than 5, 6 is greater than 5. So the loop came out. Loop broke and came out. That is break statements used. Sometimes we'll do continue and break sometimes. So there is continue, another control flow statement which actually tries to continue the loop from there. If you look at this, I am trying to take numbers from 2 to 6, and I am actually doing n mod 2, right? N mod 2 means 2 mod 2 is 0, right? 2 divided by 2 remainder is going to be 0. 3 divided by 2 remainder is going to be 1. 4 divided by 2 remainder is going to be 0. 5 divided by 2 remainder is going to be 1. So I am trying to see where I get remainder is equal to 0. Where will I get remainder 0? Only for even numbers. So I am going to print even number. So when it is an even number, I am printing the even number, right? And then continuing, going back and trying to take the number and check whether it is even number or not. If it is even number, I will print. If not, right, I will actually print these statements. So when continuous statements encounters, right, the statements below that will not get executed. It will go up. When I say continue, it will just go up here. When the condition is true, it will go up. When the condition is not true, it will come down to these statements. Got it? Got it?
Yeah.
So if I take out this continue statement, right, see what happens. See that it is printing, and I took out the continue statement. It is printing found an even number, and maybe I'll put a number. So these to distinguish. See that it is printing found an even number and a number, both it is printing. If I have continue, right, what will happen? So if you look at the indentation, I forgot to explain indentation. I'll explain that in a moment. Okay. So if you look at the indentation, this if block and these print blocks are in the same level, right? This is tab and this is also tab. So though they both belong to for loop, so it should execute this particular block and these two statements also. But when we have continue, what is happening? It is coming here, it is going back, coming here, going back. But if you comment that, it is executing everything, right? If I uncomment that and execute, you will not see the star thing in every iteration. See that? Only when it is odd number, it is printing. Only when it is odd number, it is printing. Even number, the inside if is getting printed. So that is the use of continuous statement. Okay. So here we need to understand one important thing. Yeah. Any question?
Yeah, I have a question. For example, see, first for loop is just we consider as a parent one, and below we are like take another for loop as child one. In there we put the condition and like we use the continue. So the continue will go to the child or parent.
Child only. Child only. Whenever,
Child only. Yeah, that is.
We will experiment. Maybe we will experiment that. We'll just try to print something now. Okay.
Yeah.
So here I forgot to explain one thing. In Java and other languages, right? If you take Java, if you are writing some for loop, right? For I, for int I is equal to 0, I plus plus, right? I less than maybe 10, right? And then you will actually have a curly braces and do whatever you, right? That actually indicates that these all statements belong to this for loop. Or if you have if condition, if some condition, and then there will be brackets. Inside it, you will put all the no statements belongs to if condition. But in Python, we don't have those curly braces or anything. Do you see any block notation here? Right? Anything that is indicating that some statements belongs to a block? I did not explain, but I'm just asking. This colon actually starts the block, and then a tab indent actually specifies that all these statements which are inside, with one tab belong to this for loop. And again, I have got if condition here. There is a colon. That means if condition started, and in the inside that if, right, we have one tab here, one tab here. That means these two statements belong to if condition. This if condition and the print statements belong to for loop. Got it? So in the while loop also we did like this, WHILE, while I less than 10, I kept a colon, that means the block started, and then I took a tab and then I tried to print I, and then I said I plus plus, I is equal to I plus 1. Right? So this statement both belong to while loop, right? That's where this I is getting incremented, and the condition is getting satisfied and it is coming out, right? So if you look at this code, if I put this there, right, this B star is equal to 2, I kept it with no tab. This will not belong to this while loop, it will go into an infinite loop. Okay, let me try to put, not to get into infinite loop, let me try to put it something like B is equal to B plus 1. Right? If I execute now, right, this B is equal to B star 2 is not going to affect the loop. After completing the loop, right, it will print that B. That's it. Okay. After while loop, it will print this value. Let us see. Maybe I'll put 10 here. Okay. See that this B is equal to B plus 1 is inside the loop, so it incremented. It reached a place where B value became 10, the loop broke and came out. Okay. After coming out, it actually did a multiplication of the 10, right? B is already 10, and we multiplied that with 10 and then printed the 100. Right? Because that stuff, right? That tab is actually indicating that these two statements belong to this while loop. While the loop is running, these two statements will only be executed. The other statements will get executed out after. If I don't put a tab or not tab, put something else in between, see that the B is showing it is in red. If I execute this, it will say invalid indentation. Indentation is not. So indentation is the block specification in Python. In other languages, you will have curly braces or some kind of block specification. C, C++, and Java, all those places, right? But here, indentation is the block specification. Got it? Got it? Any questions? Good, right? Okay. So now, our friend asked, Narayan asked some question, right? J in range 6 to 5. J greater than J mod 3 is equal to 0. I'll say inside loop. Okay. So See that the outer fur it printed. Maybe I'll put some peculiar things here. So outer fur it printed, right, first, and then came in, and it is actually looping, right? It took 6, right? It printed and came out.
Yeah. It's going to child one. Yeah.
Yeah, right. So
Yes.
it is, if it is if condition, right, it will go into parent. If it's a for loop, it's going to be inside that, it is. If I have some print statement here, then we'll understand. After nested for.
It should not come, right?
Right. Whenever it is actually 6, it's continuing 7.
No, here, see, if condition is satisfied, then only it will go, right? In
No,
index
not here.
something.
Not here.
Yeah,
There.
there.
So, like, right, when it is 3, right, it is just went up. Going up, I'll put here.
I got it. Here 6 and 9 is mod is
Yeah, 6 and 9, it is going up. The rest of the places, it is actually, printing this and printing this. So it is just going here only, not the. With the for loop, it will go into the same for loop. Continue. If it is if condition, it will go into the parent. If condition is a statement, it is like other statements only. Other print statements and all other statements only. So it is not a loop. So,
yes.
got it?
Yeah, got it. Thanks now.
Any other questions?
No, I'm good.
Anybody who's new to programming, are you guys getting confused or is that okay? I think it's okay. Even if it's not okay, right? We'll see, right? When we get into details, if you have questions, right, I'll handle it. The next thing is functions, right? We have seen statements, the control flow statements and other basic Python syntaxes, right? Now we'll see how to declare a function and call a function, because most of the times we'll be using the modules which are already present there, like scikit-learn, numpy, pandas, scipy, matplotlib, the TensorFlow, PyTorch, these kinds of modules we'll be using. And in those modules, there will be already present the classes and functions already present. I think you all know function, and I will be saying method also. Method and function are same. Attribute and property are same. In object-oriented programming, we call functions as methods. Okay, method or function is same. So we'll have the functions and classes already predefined. I think you already have seen those APIs, right? In those APIs, we have got functions, and in those functions there will be some variables taking in. The functions will be taking in some variables, and then they'll be outputting something. So what is the structure? How the values are being taken and how the values to know. And we have to actually write some code also, right? So we are learning functions here. So we learn 3 kinds of functions. One is formal parameter functions. Second is variable argument parameter functions, and third is key value based argument functions. So we'll see 3 kinds of functions. This is actually formal parameter function. I just took a simple method. Def is a keyword which actually defines a function. In Java, we'll say public static void and then function name, right? Public static, no need to say static, but public void or public int, and then function name and then brackets, and we'll put the data type and variable name, and then curly braces, and then write whatever code we want. If we want to return, we'll say return and then whatever statement. But here, no need to specify the data type as usual. When you declare a variable, you don't specify the variable type. Same way for the functions also, no need to specify the variable type. So this is the function name. This is a keyword which actually specifies that is a function. And then we are taking 3 variables and then printing. Print, right, the value. So when I run this, right, I ran it. I did control enter. Nothing happens because I just declared the function. When I declare the function, right, it gets created in memory. Now I am invoking the function. This is called as calling a function or invoking a function. Right? This highlighted part is called as calling a function. When I am calling, right, I am passing the values 6, A, B, C, X, Y, Z, some values. Okay. Now the statements got executed. Why do you write functions? There will be code which repeats in many places. Okay. So let me try to show some code here. An example. So if you look at this validate method, right, this is a function, right? This is actually validating the inputs. Okay, this validate function, right, is called in 2 classes, two places in our code. It is called in 2 places. So here, this is called the validate function is called. In this another function, we are calling this function. Anyway, again. Here also it is called. So twice it is called. If I don't write a function like this, right? If I don't write a function like this and put it in some place, I would have to write this same code. I would have to copy paste this code here and here, both places. So the code is going to be redundant. What is the problem with redundant code? If some rule changed in the validation, right? In the validation condition, some rule changed, right? So here I'm showing you the calls, but the actual validations are present here. So all these validations are present here. So each validation method is written here. If some validation rule changes, right, I'll change it here. That will affect in both places. In a single shot, I'm actually making change and it is affecting in both places. That's the use of functions. Repeating code, redundant code is there in your project. You try to write functions and put them in one place and make calls in other places. Got it? What is the use of functions? I explained right now. Any questions there?
So here simple method is a predefined function, right?
No, it is I written by me.
Okay.
It is not predefined. The range is a predefined function. That's a good question. Range is a predefined function. Enumerate is a predefined function. Len is a predefined function. Print is a predefined function. Right? We are trying to create those kinds of functions here. The use or why we are trying to create functions, there will be repeated code in your project. You need to make it as a single block and put it in one place and make calls in other places. A simple example, in a banking application, there will be interest calculation. Many places they'll calculate interest. Right? So if you write one method, you can call that function, all the places. If rules change or the interest rate changes, you will change the interest rate in that particular one function and it will affect throughout the application. Right? Code modularization, we call it as. Okay. So these techniques we should learn. As a data scientist also, we should learn the code modularization techniques and a little bit of object-oriented programming and all. I'll show you. Okay. Any other questions? Can I move on?
So DEF is a keyword to declare a function.
Yes,
right?
DEF is a keyword. Like in other languages, there will be function keyword. Function Pascal, you'll have function keyword, and then our JavaScript also you'll have function keyword, and then you specify your function name and then parameters and all, right? Like that.
So
Def is
okay. So def is a can we call it as a function to create a function? Something
no,
like
it's a keyword. It's a keyword.
Keyword. Okay.
Sir, I have seen somewhere like for the methods and the these functions, one of the input parameter as in a self. What is
We'll
that?
talk about that. That's a object orientation. We'll talk about it. First, we need to learn a basic thing, and maybe tomorrow or day after tomorrow we'll come to it. I have an example for that.
Even for that lambda function also, sir?
Lambda function also I will show. Here I think you would have seen somewhere, maybe here. See this self. These are all like, instance variables we call them as. I'll explain. Lambda function also. I think it is here itself. See this? Okay.
Okay, sure.
So this is a declaration, a definition, and then this is invocation. Right? I said that these are formal parameters, right? If I don't have var3 here, and then trying to run, it will throw error saying that 2 optional arguments and then 3 were passed. Positional arguments and 3 were passed. Or we have three positional parameters or formal parameters. But if you don't pass 3 values, it will actually throw error saying that it is expecting var3 and you did not pass value, right? Missing one required parameter. These are required parameters. When you put the parameters like names like that, right? They are required parameters, and you should definitely pass values to it. Why am I telling that is we are going to have variable length argument. Before the variable name, if you put a star there, what happens is it becomes a variable length argument. What is variable length argument? It will take multiple values, n number of values. Okay, so no need to define 3 variables here. You can pass 3 values even when there is one variable, but there is a star before it. It engulfs all the values passed in the while calling the method. So star args is a method name, not a predefined one. I gave some name. Def is a keyword which denotes that this is a function definition, and the colon indicates that the function code actually started, the definition started, the statements belonging to function have started, and then I'm looping through for and then trying to print the values. So if I have one variable, but I passed 4 values, it is taking. But if I pass more values, it will not complain. See that n number of values I am passing, it is taking. See, I will pass a list also if you click. See that it took list also as an element, right? But here we have 3 formal parameters, and I am calling the method with 3 values. But if I put one more value here, right, it will throw error saying that 3 are there, you are passing 4. But here it is not complaining because it's a variable argument, star arg we call it as, okay, variable argument parameters. Why am I explaining? You may define in your project, or you are using some function defined by somebody else. Pandas, NumPy, Matplotlib, scikit-learn, TensorFlow. These all functions, these all modules will have many classes and functions. You need to understand the syntax or the different kinds of functions, because how they work, how to use, at least you need to know. Okay, it is like you are using a bike or a car. You don't know the full mechanism, but you should know what is gear, what is accelerator, what is steering, and how to use it, right? And the stereo and all that, how to use it, you should know. That's the purpose here. Sometimes you may build a car, then you will know all those internals. Okay. So star args, did you guys got it? Variable length argument parameter function, a function with variable argument parameters. Any questions? Okay, good. So then the next thing is default arguments. Default arguments means here, right? When I did not pass anything, it actually threw error, right? When I passed only 2 values, it threw error saying that var3 was not having anything. If I put some value here, like this, now it will not throw error. If I pass a value, it will take that value. If I don't pass a value, that will take this value. This is default value given to this variable. That is called as default arguments, a function with default arguments. If I pass some value here, maybe I pass 99. So it will take 999. Whatever value I passed, it will take if I pass. If I don't pass, it will take the default value. That is the default valued parameter. Got it? Got it, right? Any questions? So until you start practicing, right, you will have some problems and then you can ask questions. Okay. Sometimes very rarely the practice session is going to be before the class. If I wake up late or it is very rare. It is very rare. Throughout your 4.5 months course, it may happen maybe twice or thrice. That's it. Okay? So you can make use of it also, right? So here I have defined a function called as fib. This is also not a predefined one. I gave some name. And then I said n is equal to 100. The default value is 100. And then I am actually trying to print Fibonacci series. Like if I pass a value, it will take. If I don't pass a value, see this? I just call the method without passing any value. Why am I explaining this? In the modules we are going to use, there will be default values. Sometimes even if you don't pass anything, it will take it and work. But you need to know there are default values. So maybe because of that something is going wrong, and then you need to go in and then maybe you need to pass your own values so that you get whatever values you expect. If I pass 500 here, the Fibonacci numbers will be printed till 500. Okay, so that is default arguments, the default arguments and default value function. Any questions here? Next is the keyword arguments, right? Initially, no star, only variable names. They are formal parameters. 1 star, they are variable argument parameters. Variable, n number of values you can pass, right? Now it is star keywords. It will take dictionary, key value pairs, right? There are 3 kinds of variables we understood so far. 3 kinds of different things we understood are kind of variables. Normal variables and normal values and list of values, and then key value pairs, list bunch of key value pairs. So to take all 3 kinds of values, there are 3 different notations in here, right? Star values will take a bunch of values, and star keywords will take you key value pairs. So keyword args is again a function I defined, and then printing the keyword arguments, and then keyword arguments. This star will take key value pairs, right? So that will have items. This is going to be dictionary. See this here? Keywords argument is the function I defined here, and then I am calling. While calling, I said shopkeeper is equal to John, client is equal to Mark, cheese type is equal to fresh cheese. It's a pizza shop. Okay. And then I am actually calling the method and passing 3 values there. And those 3 values are key value pairs. Key is equal to value, key is equal to value, like that. Okay. So when I execute this now, it will execute. See this? If I pass only one value, right, it will not take. See that is keyword argument parameter and you are trying to pass over one value, right? So it will not work. Got it? Any questions here?
So here keywords support the enumerator.
Keywords support enumerator. I didn't get the question.
Means like here we are using the keywords set items, right? Instead of keywords set items, enumerator of keywords, then it will take the key and value, right?
Dictionary will not take enumerator. Just dictionary, list will take enumerator. List will have index and value. Dictionary will have key and value. Right? Okay. Key and value is one kind of tuple, right? So it will not take. You can try it.
Okay.
Enumerate will give you maybe tuples.
Enumerate, okay.
Let us try. Let us try. You have got the question right.
Okay.
See that it is giving tuples. See that key value page. No, it is actually giving the keys indexes, indexes and keys.
Okay, enumerate indexes. Okay, yeah.
Only when you try to print a dictionary, right? When you, I think yesterday we have seen it is actually giving you the keys only, right? So I think when you print dictionary, it will print key value page, but somewhere I have seen.
For example, here for loop k y, after that comma and put another provide another variable name.
Here you want to put some more variable.
Yeah, some more value, and also
No, it will
print.
not take. It will not
It
take.
will not
It will
take, right?
throw error.
It will throw error. Okay, I thought.
Why?
Okay.
No, why it will? Why do you want to put another variable here?
No, I thought enumerator is like it will take that what is called index, after that key and value. So key and value means like we need to take two variables, right? B and A something. Okay, I will try it. I will try it. I don't
Maybe
want
if
to
you
disturb.
do here, yeah, I think your your idea is good. I think your idea is good.
Remove items. Keyword.
No,
Dot item.
let us put items. Let us put
Oh,
items.
okay.
See, it is showing not enough values to type.
Expect 3.
Expected 3 got 2. When we are
No,
saying
we should not take items. Items always give the two values only.
see this. This is what I am expecting. Got it? The enumerate of items will give you whatever you are expecting. I think your expectation is dictionary will not have indexes. How to know how to get indexes? That's the question, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So now you see, right? The dictionaries index we got, and the key value pairs also we got. So if you enumerate the items, then you will get it. If you don't have the items, right, it will give you the indexes and keys, right? See that?
Yes.
If you play with it, and you will get it, whatever.
I will do that.
And most probably there will be functions in the API also to give these things.
Yeah.
Python is rapidly growing. So if you see the methods, right? If you see some methods today, after 6 months you will see new methods. The methods will be there, but additional functions will be there, more functions. So keep updating yourself by looking at it. That's a good.
Sure.
That's a good way of thinking on how to get this. Yesterday somebody asked, like you or somebody asked, do we have indexing in dictionaries? We can actually access indexes also like this. Enumerate the items, we get indexes. Okay. I said we need to convert it to list and all that. This way also. Okay. So I tried to create some kind of the function where it takes all three different kinds of parameters. These are formal parameter, then variable argument parameters, and then the keyword argument parameters. If I have kind 1, comma kind 2, I will put 1, 2, and then I wrote some method here, but in that function, right, I have got all three different kinds of parameters. Let me try to execute. See that? So what is happening here is I have got three strings and then three key value pairs. Okay. What I said was star keywords will take a key value pairs. Right. So these three should be engulfed by these keywords, whatever the parameter name. And these three should be engulfed by one by this one, one by this one, and one by this one. Okay. If I have only one variable there, the kind one will take the first value. These two values will be taken by the star answer. n number of values between the single value and the key value pairs will be taken by the star arguments. Okay, got it? Got it? What I'm trying to say? When you have to create a function with three different parameters, three different kinds of parameters, the order should be maintained. First formal, next variable argument, next keyword argument. Whatever the one value will be taken by this one or n number of key formal parameters. Each one will take one value. Remaining all one values will be taken by the star args. Remaining all keyword arguments will be taken by keyword args. If I change the order, it will throw error. If I change the order, it will throw error. See that it is throwing error. Why? Why is it throwing? And you look at the missing one required keyword. Right? It is saying missing. We are passing values, right? Still it is saying missing. Why? Can you guys guess?
Because the star argument is the first one, that's why.
Yeah, what happens if it is the first one?
Yeah, first one is taking the three parameter values.
Yes, right? Star args will take all the values here. There is no value to assign to kind. That's where you actually have to maintain the order. If the order is not maintained, right, the function will not work. So when you declare functions or when you see functions in the predefined modules, you will have this order or whatever, right? And you will have this star keyword, star whatever. And that means you pass any number of values, it will going to take it. And when there is a function already defined with star keywords, right? They'll have the keywords also specified. Additional parameters, mandatory parameters, they'll declare as formal parameters. Additional parameters they'll declare as star keywords. Where you need to look at the additional parameters listed, and you can pass those also, so that it will actually do the operations. Okay, specific. It is like variable declaration, dynamic variable declaration, right, inside the function. But generally, when you write function for this keyword, you will do something inside the function. For this keyword, you will do something. For this key, you will do something, right? So I think you got the gist of it, right? Any questions?
So can we use a default argument also here in this C# function?
Yeah, we can. Right? We can assign value like this, maybe.
No. If default, what is the order we need to follow here?
Default also same order. No difference there, right? You can put 2, 3 something. Oh, this will not take. Right, it is working. Right, even if you don't pass, it will take that cheese thing. Right? So if you pass, it is going to take over. If you don't pass anything here, that's when it takes the palm cheese. See the palm cheese it took. Okay. And this one, right, whether you have value or not, it is not going to care, right? Even this one, let me take out everything. See that these two arguments, they don't care whether you pass none or n number. Like they don't care. That's where default value is not needed. These formal parameters need value. When you say formal parameter, it definitely have value. That's where it is taking the default. Got it? Did I answer the question or going into some?
Got it.
Now, one formal variable and one formal variable with default value. How it will work now?
I didn't get the question, please.
Now, for example, see here, you need to provide one formal variable, kind, and another one is kind one with default value.
You wanted to have two.
Yeah.
Kind 1, no value, no default value. Kind 2, you want to have some default value.
Yes. Now I
Okay.
want to know.
Order doesn't matter. Both are formal, right?
Okay.
So you wanted to see if I pass value, which one will take.
Yes.
This will be taken by first variable. Second variable has got that whatever, right? The default value is there, right? So it absolutely.
Oh, no. Syntax error.
I think comma here and comma there, right? So kind 1 is taken with cheese, and kind 2, I think I should put some.
Now I want to pass that arguments.
Which argument? You want to pass? You pass.
Yeah, I want to pass that variable length argument.
The variable length argument. Okay, then second value will be taken by the second variable. So I'll put second
Yeah.
cheese. Right? See that?
Here my question.
See
Now
this? Second cheese is
don't.
taken by this one.
Yes,
This is
but I don't want to. Already I provided the default one, so I don't want to pass that value. How do I handle that?
Oh, you want to skip that value?
Yes,
think
I want to skip that value.
It's not possible. It's a constant.
It's not possible.
Why do you want to pass it as a parameter? It's a constant.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
You should be declaring it as a constant and using it inside wherever you want.
Okay.
You pass parameters when they are dynamic, right? For different scenarios, it is changing differently, and you need to calculate values.
Maybe different scenarios, like I may get value or I may not get value. So in that time, I need to like make a default value is 0 or something. In that case.
Yeah. Not 0. Basically, you will see that when we actually look at the algorithms, already implemented algorithms, there will be hyperparameters. We call them as. They're all different. The best values will be already taken and then kept it in the method, in the function, in the algorithm. You have to fine tune them. If the best value is not working, you have to fine tune for that purpose.
Yeah.
So I think lambda functions will start tomorrow because it is too much for today, right? You guys, get time, look into this API where we have predefined functions. And I showed you enumerate, I showed you print, I showed you some of those functions, and sorted and all that you need to look into. Right? Tomorrow we'll just briefly recap and then go into lambda functions, zip function and lambda function. Okay? Is it okay?
Okay.
I think